How's it going, guys? Welcome to another Preaching to the Choir edition. I'm your host, Pastor Kevy Kev, one half of the Prophets, coming at you from 12 on Sports Network and the Unwrapped Sports Network as well. This time, I decided to do the Philadelphia Eagles. They had a lot of talk over the past weekend about what they did at the draft. So, like, what better way than bring some Eagles fans here and see what they got to say about the whole situation, about the season, and about what to look forward to into 2020-2021 NFL season. So I'm going to introduce them real quick. First off, he's the owner of the online On the Sidelines, OTS. He's a producer, editor, photographer. You can check out his website at otsguys.com. We have Derek Myers Jr. What's going on, man?
What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Can't complain. Appreciate you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Second, she will come at your throat if you talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, whether that's about Carson Wentz. It could be about Peterson, anybody. It don't matter. She's a host of her very own podcast, Sports and Stilettos podcast. You can catch that anywhere. Welcome to the show, Brianna. How you doing?
What's good? What's good? How are you?
Doing good. And last but not least, we have Philly Pete repping South Jersey and Philly, the host of Pete's Power Play on 12 on Sports. You can catch him live from 12 to 12:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He told me to put this in here as well, that he is the hockey, NFL, fantasy football guru as well. So, Philly Pete, man, what's going on?
Kev, what's going on, man? Glad to be part of your show tonight.
No problem. So I kind of want to we can just go ahead and get into it about the end of the season. It was kind of up and down. You know, you started off great, then you had a little dip into the season. Then you were able to beat Cowboys in Week 16, get into the playoffs, and you know, obviously Carson Wentz got hurt in the playoffs, so it kind of dimmed the chances. But I want to give y'all a few minutes on what y'all thought over the season. We can start with Derek, hit Bree, and then Philly Pete.
What I thought of the season overall.
Overall, yeah.
Obviously, it's not what we wanted to happen. It was a rough start, but I actually think that this was a great showing for Carson Wentz because it was able to dispel a little bit of the whole injury-prone thing that he's been had on him, but. It was telling in terms of the receivers, and you know, of course, our secondary was horrible most of the season. But I like what I saw toward the end of the season. That last stretch there when we ran through the NFC East and got those wins, I liked what I saw. You know, everybody showed that fight, and the next man stepped right up to the plate. And I like what we're about to do, building off of that. So I actually had no complaints about it. The only thing I didn't like was Jadeveon Clowney's cheap shot. You know, that took us out. That definitely took us out. But I have nothing but respect for Wentz and even Josh McCown for what he did. I think what his role with the team. Last year, I think that was pretty much an underrated role with helping with Carson Wentz with his confidence, getting that back, and also stepping in at 40 years old, playing in the playoffs, and you know, having a messed up hamstring during the game, still fought through it. So I have nothing but respect for him.
Well, I took the words right out of my mouth. You know, I agree. I thought I don't have any like real complaints about the season. I thought when people needed to step up in certain areas, they did, which was good to see. That last stretch was incredible. You're playing with the cashiers at Wawa 2 states over, and you know you're going down. You're just bulldozing through the NFC East, and you know, obviously it feels good snatching the title from the Dallas Cowboys since they didn't want it. So yeah, I thought it was a solid season to an extent. Obviously, the beginning was a little hectic, but they got done what they needed to get done, and it just sucks that the playoffs ended the way that they did.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what you guys said. I mean, Wentz finally had he had a healthy season for once. It was nice, and Jordan Howard. What can I say? When we put him into the game or in any games, he's a freak of nature. I think he's a bull when he runs, and just to lay off Miles Sanders for a little bit, and Jordan came in when he could. I'm seeing a bunch of these stats here, and Jordan Howard leads the team, led most of the games in rushing, and obviously towards the end of the season where we needed Miles the most, he came through. So, as we all said, the 0-3 stretch before we hit the final 4 games. Thank God we had one of the easiest schedules in the NFL remaining, and I mean, we can't Dallas Cowboys. They can't be trusted. We know they're a bunch of choke alerts, and it panned out the way that we wanted to be. We were 5-5 against until we hit New England. Well, we lost New England. We were 5-5. Seattle obviously was a tough stretch at home, and then Miami, somehow we lose that game. You're looking at 5-7. We're thinking to ourselves, oh great, here we go. Dallas has this in their driver's seat, but Dallas does what they do best, and they choke. So we 4 straight games. New York, nothing to worry about. Washington, nothing to worry about. And unfortunately, the cheap shot by Clown, he kind of Wentz is dying for a playoff win, and I thought, obviously we all thought that he was going to win that game here, but he goes down. 40-year-old comes in, does what he can, but unfortunately just not enough for us to move on. But again, a very successful season. I can't complain, and just looking ahead.
Al, do y'all feel like So all right, so I said this a while. So me and my co-host, we were going back and forth all year about who we thought will win the NFC East. He was on the Eagles side and I was on the Cowboys side, but it was really because I thought, okay, when you talk about the schedule with the Eagles, and I was like, okay, they do have a great schedule, and we were talking about to a certain point, if Eagles get to this point here with the same record, they're going to run away because of the schedule I talked about. But then we got after the Patriots game, after the Seattle game, we was still going back and forth, and I was like, it wouldn't be shocking that the Eagles make it more dramatic and lose to one of these games that they shouldn't lose. I thought it would be like the Giants. I thought they always play out pretty tough, no matter like the roster sometimes. But to lose to Miami, when that happened, like we was like, man, did y'all think y'all chances were over, or did you still think you had like a realistic shot?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. Cause I was sitting like
I was at the Miami game. And there's nothing worse than watching someone throw 5 touchdowns in a row and just lose the way that we did. It was a total buzzkill. Yeah. I got to that stadium, I was trashed. By halftime, I was so sober that I was pissed. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
Go ahead.
I left that game and I was like, yeah, we're done.
And then it was the following week. It was a Monday Night Football or Sunday night against the Giants?
Monday night.
This, I was like, man, Eagles, y'all cannot be doing this right now. You're making it too easy for the Cowboys. And it was 4, I want to say, was 14-0 at one point. I want to say they got more than that, but the surge and the comeback in the second half, Giants did blow that game. I think they gave up a lot of opportunities that they could have put y'all away. But the Giants are the Giants at the end of the day. I was like, man, there's no way this team, especially with all the injuries, because it wasn't like you have a bad roster. You had one of the best rosters in the NFL, but it's like when you had the receivers that you had, running back Sproles gone, you like, oh man, everybody's going down that you don't need to go down, and it happened. But I think like y'all mentioned the Carson Wentz being able to stay healthy, because you can see, I think he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Don't care what nobody say. I think he's that amazing. And you see with the weapons he had, he was still able to get it done. But in the playoffs, so we know that Clowney took him out pretty early, first quarter. So yeah. So it's pretty much at the time you was kind of like, okay, now what? We got to lean on Josh McCown, who's I think at this time never been in the playoffs. As many teams he been on, all 32 teams it feel like, but he finally got his chance to to do something. But obviously, when you hurt everywhere else and the quarterback position, it's really hard to hang on. But see, I thought y'all would have beat them with a healthy Carson Wentz. I've been this advocate about the Seattle saying that they're Russell bust. No matter if Russell Wilson don't have a great game, they're pretty much done. But nonetheless, you did lose that game. So kind of heading to the offseason. I know everybody says the receiver was a big need, but what was was the corner the biggest need that you think, or was it to have Stabler at the receiver position?
Yeah, we needed that secondary taken care of. We couldn't stop anyone for the most part, and that's been an issue for years that we haven't had a reliable secondary. I actually thought that Byron Maxwell, when he came over, was going to kind of help out that. Nope. So that was my biggest thing. Because I knew we were going to get some help with the receivers. You got Deshaun Jackson coming back this season. Of course, Alshon Jeffrey got hurt. So I knew we were still going to make some moves, but that was the biggest thing that I thought we had to take care of. I will say Malcolm Jenkins leaving, that one hurt me deep. Not that I think we're going to be horrible without him, but I love having him on the team. So played every snap. So that was something that I love seeing. But the secondary was what I was hoping we would address, and I think getting Darius Slay was phenomenal. I know as a fan base we get on Howie Roseman a lot, but I think he went about this very strategically. Off season with free agents, and also in the draft, I think they were strategic. So I applaud him for being able to pull that move off, getting Will Parks, shoring up that defense a lot more. That line looks really good. So, the defense was more of what I was. I think if I had to do a priority list, the secondary, then the receivers, in my opinion, because we just needed that defense shored up. So that's what I'll say about that.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
I think there's only so much that the front four can do, and you got to be able to stop somebody. You can't have everybody blow past you. So, addressing, like you said, addressing that secondary, addressing the defense first was a great move. It was a great move.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when you see that game against Minnesota, and Kev, you're probably going to laugh, but when we got demolished by Minnesota, right then and there, I'm thinking to myself, we got to get some players in the all season. I mean, Darius Slay was a huge hit that we needed. We needed him big time. That was an amazing pickup that we had. You got Rasul Douglas right next to him as well. You got Jalen coming back. I mean, it's and we kept Rodney McLeod, the heavy hitter, and I'm glad that we kept him. Ronald Darby, sayonara. I'm cool with that. He didn't do much for us anyway. And this is exactly what we needed. We picked up Kevon Wallace from Clemson in the draft, which is also another amazing safety out of Clemson that we could definitely fit in right when we need him. And that's the main thing. Defense obviously wins your championships. We have Sidney Jones obviously as well. Hopefully, he doesn't get burned again. And then if not, we got Roby Coleman too that we signed in the offseason as well. So a lot of additions for the Eagles on the defensive side. And what can I say? We'll see what happens. Obviously, that was more of a situation that we needed. Then you look in the receiving wise, and we just mentioned Alshon Jeffrey, Greg Ward, who came up and stunned all of us, and he had an amazing second half of the season, as and he picked it up where we needed him the most, and that's what happened. You got Jalen Reagor, who, okay, we'll see what happens. Not who I wanted, but let's not get into that. And but we addressed the exact positions that were needed to make this team a lot more efficient. I'll end it like that.
I was actually at the game where Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey went ghost when they played Atlanta, and I was sitting there like, I'm not a Atlanta fan. I'm from Georgia, so somebody gave me tickets, I'm gonna go. Especially
Hmm.
primetime game. So I went, and I'm just looking on the field because I'm a South Carolina fan. So Alshon Jeffrey is one of my favorite guys. So I'm sitting there looking for him. Where's number 17? I just don't see him, man. He on the sideline. Okay, well, what is Deshaun Jackson? He on the sideline. They were supposed to play the game. And all of a sudden they was hurting, and the whole season they just been back and forth. So I can understand the frustration about losing a receiver, especially two of them at the same time. And even in that game, Eagles probably should have still won the game. I mean, Julio Jones took a screen to the crib.
Really.
Usually
Nelson Aguilar.
I was say usually, yeah, okay. Aguilar should have caught that. I had a great angle, like, come on, bro, that's easy. But he's not an Eagle no more. He's not an Eagle no more. So, but
Yeah.
but you the secondary what y'all point to is like, come on, a screen to the crib like 50 yards is different. It's like good play call at the 10-yard line, blah blah. His man took off and was gone. Nobody could catch him. So I did like what Howie approach was this year. I really like the addition of Hargrave as well. He
Yes.
paid Malik Jackson last year, and then now you got Hargrave. That D line, I'm glad we don't play y'all this year. So I'm glad y'all won the division because our line is terrible. So for to play those three guys at the same time, Fletcher Cox is, I mean, if not the best behind Aaron Donald, he's second. And it's like, this kind of why I wanted like y'all to go defense in the first round. I wanted y'all to get a linebacker. I thought if you paid the secondary, you got Slade Coleman, you brought Mills back and all that stuff, and you paid the front. Because I think the whole time y'all really been kind of like patching the linebacker position a little bit, just veterans and stuff like that in and out. And I thought like Kenneth Murray or Patrick Quinn would be like, this Eagle defense would be. Who cares if you got Carson Wentz? You're not scoring more than 10 points. That's why I kind of thought his direction was going. But he did go Jalen Reagor, so we can kind of get into that. Okay, so were y'all shocked that you got Jalen Reagor when like Justin Jefferson was on the board, or did y'all hear throughout the process that the Eagles, we like Jalen Reagor, we like what he can do, stuff like that?
I actually wasn't shocked, but of course, when we did the mock draft 2 weeks ago, I thought Justin Jefferson was just who we were going to choose. But I'll be completely honest. I actually wanted Cesar Ruiz, to be completely honest, because of the fact that Kelsey has like maybe 2 more years, and I wanted someone that would be able to learn under him, especially with Kelsey being his comp. I wanted Ruiz. So I figured if he could slide to the second, we could trade up, 2 picks or something to go get him. My other choice would have been Patrick Queen. If we couldn't get Ruiz, Queen was the other guy that I wanted. If it was not going to be a receiver, for what you just mentioned, because that defense would have just been. I mean, it's already scary on paper,
Right.
but you adding Queen into the mix, that would have been it. But I like Rager. He's what, 5'11", but you look at his tape, he doesn't play 5'11".
Yeah.
So I think I'm very intrigued with what he's going to be able to do to open the field up and actually catch the ball. I think that's going to be very, very, very good, especially having that alongside with Deshaun Jackson. And Miles Sanders actually is pretty underrated in his catching as well. So between those guys, Ertz, Goddard, I think Wentz has all the pieces that he needs, and Godwin. Can't forget we just traded for him too.
Right.
So I think that receiving core is fast. That's actually what Howie said that they wanted to do. Speed. They wanted speed at every position that they were drafting for in this offseason, and that's what we got. So I can't be mad at getting Rager.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not shocked at all. A receiver to me, if it wasn't Justin Jefferson, then Rieger would have been in like my top 5 that I would have been okay with. Like you said, he's 5'11", but he plays like he's over 6 foot, and to me that's a plus. He goes up and gets the ball. He's fast as all crap. So, um, Wentz is gonna have fun with him. I can't wait to see the connection and the chemistry that they build when this virtual stuff is over. But yeah, I think that relationship is going to be very, very, very special.
Yeah, I mean, about a month ago, I put out my mock draft, and I had the Eagles selecting probably T. Higgins way back when, and then about 2 weeks ago, it was Justin Jefferson. So, Eagles are up. A lot of I want to tell you guys a couple like sources I follow. They were mentioning about a possible trade up to the Browns or possible trade up to the Jaguars at 9-10. They were talking to CD Lamb all week before the draft about potentially going to the Eagles. And I don't know. I'm sure you Eagles fans could recognize when we drafted Dallas Goedert 2 years ago. The Dallas Cowboys needed a tight end because Witten was about to do booth work, and Eagles are on the clock. They take what potentially would have been Dallas's player, no doubt. So this time around, Dallas, okay, you know what? Screw the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to take this. We're going to take CeeDee Lamb, and that's what they did. To me, I thought it was a slap in the face because it was a layup if he was there at 21 for us, no doubt. But it is what it is. Jalen Rieger comes off the board. He ran a 4.22 in the combine, and most likely the fastest player, to my knowledge. And that's great as long as Carson could get the ball out there. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the big time. So, it's a burner that we need. Marquise Goodwin as well from Sanford, another fast player that we picked up for Carson. And it's healthy Deshaun, healthy Alshon. I mean, there is so many weapons now in this Eagle offense. And like you mentioned earlier, I mean, Miles Sanders, I don't know if you see my Penn State flag in the background, but that's my alma mater. So, I loved when the Eagles got Miles last year. So he is going to be, especially with Jordan Howard on the Dolphins now, Miles is going to be that RB1 that the Eagles have been longly awaited for. And obviously we saw last year. So defensive wise, though, Patrick Queen to me is like the next Ray Lewis now for, of course, the Baltimore Ravens.
That's what Lamar Jackson said.
Yeah.
He was my comparison, and Ravens got him, and if he was there, if they were going to go linebacker, definitely him. But I just think receiver was probably, if not the best way for the Eagles. It was like that all week, all 2 weeks heading up to the draft, and we'll see what happens.
Do y'all feel like, I know Cowboys took him at 17, but did y'all want to trade up for CeeDee Lamb? Like, he's sitting there falling. Judy went off at 15. And I guess there's only one pick in between it is the Falcons at 16. So it's kind of like, I always wondered, like, when you go into the GM, can we get that access? Were you on the phone trying to go get the guy? If you said that they were talking to him all week, he's right there for the taking. It's only 5 or 6 spots. You probably give up maybe a third round. Third and something else to go up there. And Atlanta definitely could have got who they got at 21. So I always wondered, like, man, what was Howie on that phone trying to talk and get that pick? Because I kind of knew, like, we did the draft day betting game, and we all got to the Cowboys. We all said, oh, they going defense. And then when I put my pick in, I was like, these guys going to take CeeDee Lamb, aren't they? And then sure enough, they did. So I always wondered, so do y'all wish they all would have traded up? Or, even if Rieger is great, it's kind of like the potential of what CeeDee could bring.
Yeah, I actually I thought we were trading to 14 with San Francisco because there's been talk about there was talk that they were trading or discussing trading with San Francisco, I think earlier in the day, and I figured Rasul Douglas was just going to be in that trade. So that was what I was thinking was going to happen. But Dallas getting Lamb was a spite pick, man. There's no need. Your need was offensive line and defense. That was their need. But you're talking about Jerry Jones, who doesn't operate in logic. He goes off of feeling.
Right.
So, of course, the ability to spite the Eagles and also get someone that's going to be box office, help sell merchandise and stuff like that. Of course, you're going to want something like that. So you go get Lamb. I actually thought Lamb was just going to fall to us, to be completely honest. After we saw how the first 13, 14 picks went, I was kind of convinced he was just going to fall. But to be completely honest, I think they still would have chosen Rager even if they did move up. I'm not too convinced that they were going to get Lamb after that, especially after all the rumors of us getting Lamb. We were linked to Lamb for like a week and a half or something like that. After all of that, I didn't see us getting Lamb at all. I didn't want to get my hopes up for that happening at all.
Right.
I just say, you know what, we're gonna get a receiver. That's all I figured. But I wasn't stunned that that's what Dallas did, because especially when we not only jumped them to get Dallas Goedert, but David Akers clowned Dallas.
He did. Yeah.
So, that's kind of a spite pick, man. It is what it is. Their defense, I'm not worried about. Their offensive line took a hit with Travis Frederick retiring. So I don't see how anything's going to change. He just has another weapon out there running that's not going to get the ball. That's really what it's going to end up being.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, there's no guarantee that they would have actually gotten CeeDee Lamb, but it did come out after that they were on the phone with Atlanta trying to get to 16, and Atlanta wanted a 1 and a 2, and Howie was only offering a 1 and a 3. So Atlanta was like, yeah, nah, dog, sorry, we ain't doing that. So, like everything goes, like a trade has to be on both sides. Right. So if that party ain't trying to do a deal, there's really nothing else that you could do. So, but I don't know that they would have still chosen CeeDee Lamb. It would have been nice.
Yeah.
Would have been nice.
Right.
But being linked to somebody for that long, that puts a target on your back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
which is why I just didn't buy into the fact that we were going to draft him. I didn't want that heartache.
Yeah. Well, we know Howie's reputation in drafts. So again, it would be someone, again, just like Justin Jefferson. I'm like, okay, we have him front and center. We could take him, and just waiting for that word. They said Jay. I said, okay, Jay, but it wasn't the right one. It was Jalen. So, but hey, again, like you said, Big 12 receiver. When I look at Big 12 receivers, I don't. You can only see. CeeDee Lamb obviously was the king of the class in the Big 12. Rieger, I didn't really see much of TCU because they weren't that great of a team, but obviously the Eagles did, and he's a burner. So again, a lot of people already comparison to Nelson. I know I mentioned that earlier. I hope to God not. And
they're comparing Rager to Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah. Yep.
Hopefully they mean out of college.
A lot of critics. Yeah, right. Yeah. Not me. A lot of critics. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the Eagles fans for you, man. That's the Eagles fans for you. Again, I haven't seen him in the NFL jersey yet. So when Week 1 comes in September, then we'll know what this kid's all about. So just praying for the best.
Yeah.
See, I was about to say, like, if it's Aguilar coming out of USC, see, when you say a player comp, they need to specify if it's college or NFL, because it's a different story. This Aguilar out of USC, was highly taught at. So,
Yeah.
Let's move into the second round. Me and Philip P was actually together, talking this, but right before it happened. And the Eagles select Jalen Hurts, quarterback, Alabama / Oklahoma, how you want to say it. So first, I just want everybody's first initial reaction when you heard the pick, before we get into it.
I cussed. I didn't know what else to say. Not because I don't like him, but because it just at the time it did not make sense to me. It's like, there was I forgot who else was on the board at that point, but I figured we were going to go either another receiver or defense. And that was just my expectation. Jalen Hurts came out of nowhere to me. That was wild. But as time has passed, I have been able to actually get over it. Listen to what Peterson and Howie had to say about it, and makes sense. I get why they did it. I somewhat feel like Nate Sudfeld might get traded because of that. Because I just didn't see the reason to sign him if we were going to draft a quarterback. But you're going to have depth on the QB charts. So most likely they're all going to stay. So I'm not mad at it. I can see them doing different things with Jalen Hurts in the red zone. I can. It's just another weapon out there. So I'm not mad at it. It's just frustrating. It was frustrating at the time. I'll say that. It was frustrating as hell. Yeah.
Well, I was God, what was I even doing that day? I think my initial reaction, I was just like, huh? Like, for what? And, like I said, as time kind of went on, I'm like, okay, I can see them doing X, Y, and Z with him because I watched him at Oklahoma. So um, I was like, oh, all right, you know, he can pass, he can rush. He's like rushing for like 2,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, we could use him in certain packages and things like that. And for him to come in and learn under Carson, that was another plus for me. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you're going to move on from him in 2 years or 3 years or whatever, he's got that mentality and he's developed in a way that he may not have developed anywhere else.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I got dragged on Twitter though. I'll tell you that. I got dragged. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But I stand by it. I'm cool with Jalen being on this team. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, there was obviously other fits instead of a quarterback at the second round. I mean, I think we could have addressed it somewhere else. Obviously, complete shock to me. Obviously, if you saw the video that Kevin brought out on Twitter about our Friday night stand that we had about it. But however, he'll be on the field. We know he did in Oklahoma, transfer from Alabama, huge heart on his head. I mean, he's a great kid, and I mean, they're mentioning the whole Taysom Hill, Drew Brees sort of combo right there. But I mean, a lot of people are even speculating that he could even be like a straight running back in the red zone. Again, like you mentioned it, X, Y, and a possible, little maybe bring back college football days when you had the Wildcat. Wildcat was so much. That's how NFL started reading the Wildcat was based from college football. And by all means, if you want to have Carson line up as a running back and Jalen Hurts is on their center, that's cool. I mean, something different here to maybe juice up this Eagles offense. But I just think that again, there was other needs that the Eagles needed besides this. It could be an insurance policy in the future. We know how Carson's history of injuries is. I mean, 3 ACL tears in 4 years. I mean, it's kind of it's getting a little redundant. And but at the end of the day here, I mean, they're all looking for our backs, and especially Carson. So you could expect to see Sudfeld gone. I mean, McCown, we know that he's probably going to be done too. So there's really not much behind us, and or behind Wentz, I should say. So. At the end of the day here, I think this is a solid pick, but, it's just too early for my liking in round 2. I think we could have got him in round 3, if anything.
Yeah.
So you think he would have fell?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
They had him as a
round.
They had him as a 4th-round quarterback in most mocks I've been seeing. So, I mean, it wouldn't shock me. I thought it was just too early for him to get off the board.
Yeah, I don't know if he would have made it to probably early 3rd if he was to fall. But when we first thought of it, I was like, I was shocked because one, I didn't really see anything about Eagles being linked to drafting a quarterback. Now whether some people believe you should always draft a quarterback every year just to have one, whether it's fifth round, sixth round. And I can understand the insurance policy on Carson Wentz when he had the ACL, the back, and then the playoffs which was not his fault, getting hurt. But to me, when you look at the draft, it's never the draft is always a hindsight view anyway. So what did these guys become 4 or 5 years later? But when we at the draft, is about the value and when you got someone. When it happened, I was like, I just don't understand. I understand the insurance part, but I don't understand the Jalen Hurts getting him at 2 or getting a quarterback. It don't have to be Hurts. It could be anybody at the second round because you could use the tackle. What's that guy with the long name that left y'all? He went to Detroit. The tackle.
Oh yeah.
What his name is? I can't. It's too long.
Vitae.
I can't pronounce it.
Big
Yeah.
V.
There you
Big
go.
V.
Big V. Let's
Yeah.
call him
Yeah.
that. All right. So he left. We paid Brandon Brooks. Lane Johnson's paid. You mentioned earlier about Kelsey. Yeah, he maybe 2 or 3 years left. So you still had the need at tackle. You still had the need at linebacker that I thought you might get it in the first round. So you had different needs like Pete said, and I was like, okay, I get the pick for Carson Wentz because of the injuries. If he does go down again, okay, we can still win. This is the same how y'all won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. Okay, he went down. We still got a solid quarterback. We can still go win the Super Bowl. So I understand that from that aspect. But it's like the second round, though, and that was my big thing. And then I didn't like it for Jalen Hurts either because, I want him to go and try to be a quarterback. I wanted him to go to Pittsburgh where the guy in front of him only has 2 years, 3 years left. I wanted him to go to New Orleans for the same reason. Places where he can go and possibly get a chance to start. And I was like, man, Eagles, when I think Carson Wentz, when healthy, is a top 5 quarterback, I don't see him, aside from injury, going anywhere. So I was like, man, Jalen Hurts really doesn't have a chance to make it. I won't say make it, but to be that guy in the NFL. And I was kind of disappointed for him for that standpoint too. So I was like, man, great situation for him to go to, like y'all mentioned about learning from Carson Wentz. But I was like, man, is he really going to ever get the chance?
Yeah.
Shoot, I thought he was going to Tennessee, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Anywhere where he got a chance.
That's what I thought. Yeah. I mean, I think it's still going to benefit him in the long run, especially being with Doug Peterson. I think it's going to be very beneficial for his career. We're just not going to see him, get out there and start. It's not happening.
Yeah, no.
I think he could actually be a trade piece down the line. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I don't see him being there long term.
Yeah, no.
Do y'all think? Okay, so which one y'all think is a worse pick? I won't say worse, but which one do you think is more questionable? Head scratcher. The Packers moving up for Jordan Love, or y'all taking Jalen Hurts in the second round?
Oh man.
No comment.
Us taking Jalen Hurts. I'll just say it. I'll say it. Because I can at least understand why they took Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers is toward the end of his career. You want to find someone that could come in and learn from him. It's still questionable because they didn't get a receiver at all in the draft.
Thank you, Green Bay.
Not denying it. But I understand, at least in the moment, I could understand the reasoning. In the moment, I could not understand the reasoning for Jalen Hurts. It just it made no sense. Now as time has passed, yeah, I can understand it. And it now looks less questionable, where it looks like the Green Bay move is the more skeptical one. But in the moment, yeah, it was Green Bay. I mean, it was Philly getting Hurts over Green Bay getting Love.
I agree. I'm not even going to. I agree. Like you said, at first, like in the moment, you're just like, all right, we don't need a quarterback.
Yeah.
But, like you said, thinking about Rodgers possibly retiring 2, maybe 3 years left, if he stays healthy, You got to have somebody that can just rock out with that offense and keep it going. But you never know.
Well, I'm kind of skeptical as well, but I was talking about this on Friday night when I was hosting the second and third round drafts on Friday night, and Brett Favre was 36 when they drafted Aaron Rodgers, and he was 22 coming out of Cal. Rodgers' current day, he's 36 years old, and look what they draft. They drafted a quarterback by the name of Jordan Love out of Utah State. It's a head scratcher to me. I think the Packers failed that draft because they followed it up with a running back from Boston College when they already have Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams in the backfield as well. So to me, there's no help whatsoever for Devontae Adams, who obviously is a top 3 receiver in the NFL. And then you have Devin Funchess, who they picked up from Carolina. They need more help than that. I mean, Devontae can't do it all. Funchess, if he's healthy, he could be okay, but to me, I just think that they screwed Rodgers over big time. Obviously, if you saw the comments after the draft, he wasn't too thrilled either. So, it's just a give or take here, and I just think a receiver for the Packers could have been a big spot for them. But here they go with quarterback, and again, a position player that they could have, but they could have addressed that down the line in the draft, not in the first round.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, I just, like I said, I just really wish that, because you look at what the Colts got in Jacob Eason. I think he went in the 4th round. And if y'all would take a quarterback at that, if y'all got him, a strong arm quarterback, he can make all the throws. And with all the fast speed, you need somebody who can throw it 90 yards. You know what I mean? Like, that makes sense. I understand the Jalen Hurts, dynamic ability. But yeah, so, something like that. And like I say, it's always about value in the draft and when you get guys. And, nobody's saying Jalen Hurts is a bad player, but like y'all mentioned, it is so many different things at the time where you could have got somebody like Jacob Easton in the 4th round, and that would have been out the park, pick in my opinion. Especially like I said, you need the insurance. Do y'all believe in this rumor about the 2 quarterback system thing? I mean, I know y'all mentioned about the Taysom Hill, Drew Brees, but to me, that's a little disrespectful to Jalen Hurts. I don't think Taysom Hill is good at all at quarterback. I think Jalen Hurts has the potential to be, at least a solid starting quarterback in the league. So do y'all really believe that, you have Wentz out here receiver and you got Jalen Hurts behind the center? Because something that Sean Payton does too much to me, he get too cute with all these, with taking the ball out of Drew Brees' hands. And like I mentioned, I'll say it again, Carson Wentz is a top 5 quarterback. You don't take the ball out of an elite guy's hand, in my opinion. So, where do y'all see that fitting into your offense? Of course, it's going to be hard to stop, when you don't know what to do. Y'all, shocked what Patriots with the Philly. That's going to go down in history. So it's kind of like, you have these options available to y'all. So, like, are y'all falling in love with this idea, or do y'all think it's like it's okay, but just not as much as Sean Payton do with his cuteness over here?
Well, Doug Peterson doesn't do too much, so I'm not worried about the utilization of it. I actually think that because of the threat of what Jalen Hurts could possibly do, it'll actually be a distraction for other players. So it's more, I think it's more something that they want to be able to disguise different plays. I don't think that he's going to take the ball out of Wentz's hands too much. I think it would actually be counterproductive to do that. Because Wentz, under pressure, is
Houdini.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we thought that he was actually down and still scrambles out of the pocket and completes a play? I don't think that they're going to do anything crazy. I just think there's just something to deceive the defense. I don't think it's going to be something that is going to be utilized where there's too much utilization of Hurts that it hurts Wentz. No pun intended. But I don't think they're going to do anything like that.
I agree. It's going to take some getting used to having 2 quarterbacks technically on the field at the same time. I mean, you get used to it because Sean Payton does it so much.
Yeah.
And Taysom Hill literally lines up everywhere. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, Taysom Hill's on the field. What the heck is he going to be now? Is he going to be a wide receiver? Is he going to be a tight end? Is he going to try to run
Yeah.
the ball? Is he going to block? You never
Hmm.
know. But I think it'll be very, very, very interesting to see, like you said, the utilization of Jalen Hurts out on the field. And I agree. I don't think that they're going to take the ball out of Carson's hands. Um, they might do, one or two cute plays, but I don't think that's going to be like something that they practice every single week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you guys too. I mean, you look at the Saints, and they just picked up Jameis Winston as well. So I mean, that's saying something too about Drew Brees' future, obviously. But Taysom Hill, obviously, he can't throw the ball. He's a beast. He could run people over. I get it, but he's just not that quarterback type to me. And then you look at Jalen Hurts here, who I think is obviously, if you put him in that situation, I think you're looking at Wentz and Jalen Hurts as a little bit more of a potent duo compared to Drew Brees and Jason or Taysom, what's his name, whatever his name is, Taysom Hill, and
Yeah, that guy.
yeah, that guy, and it's just you're not going to get the ball out of Carson's hands, and now I get it, Carson, he can't run anymore, and I get it, he's playing with a little bit more of a fear factor on his shoulder than he did when he first started playing the NFL. And then as soon as he got hurt, he's playing more fragile. You don't see him really running anymore. He takes forever to throw the ball out of the pocket, which is one of my scary things about the kid. And he's got to fix that, obviously. But when the ball is there, I mean, the ball is there. We know he could throw the ball. He's consistent. But again, he's just, and of course, like you mentioned earlier, he can get out of the pocket. When Houdini himself, we think he's down, he's not. He's still alive and he's good to go. But just the whole fear factor of him trying to get out of the pocket, and he's not, again, he's just not as quick as he was until before he got hurt. So I don't know how much of a factor it's going to play into this season, but obviously we know that Jalen Hurts will be in the package of some sorts in the season to come, and I'm just looking forward to it. I'm just going to see how they utilize Jalen Hurts. He could play anywhere. I mean, you put him at a receiver position, he'll do it. Running back, maybe a little Cordell Stewart. We'll see what happens.
I like it. Before we get out of here, do y'all have any other thoughts on the draft class, the rest of the draft class? Like you mentioned Kevon Wallace earlier. I think you got a linebacker out of Colorado, and you got some more receivers down there who can also run. So, any thoughts y'all want to give about the rest of the draft class?
I have no issue with any of these picks, to be honest. I'm really looking forward to what Wallace is going to be able to do in that secondary. That's the most intriguing. I think Taylor's going to be someone that I'm looking forward to see if he's going to be able to get on the field and do some real good things. I know a lot of people talk about the linebackers we got are going to probably mostly be used in special teams. But I if we don't make another signing at linebacker, I don't see that happening. Like, you got to plug someone in, I think these guys are going to do well. I'm not worried about any of them. I like the picks. I think, like I said before, Howie set out for speed to be the number one priority with whoever they get. And if you look at all the tape on these guys, they're fast. They are really fast. So I'm not worried. I think it's gonna be good, and I'm glad we got a couple of weapons for Wentz. So I have no issues with it.
Yeah, I don't have any issues either. Um, Speed, obviously, everybody needs it, but the Eagles now have like 4 sets of a 4x1 relay team. Everybody's running under a 4.5, so it's like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think I was very surprised that they actually drafted a
Yes.
linebacker. I'll tell you that because I have been preaching this. Eagles don't value the linebacker position. That's the band-aid of the defense. They don't care.
Yeah.
So it definitely shocked me when they actually drafted someone. So that'll be interesting to see how how he fits into Schwartz's defense and all of that and the scheme and everything. I'm excited to see what Wallace can do. Huge fan.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see him. But I think the Eagles did good. I think the Eagles did good.
Yeah, I mean, they addressed what they needed. I mean, you lost Nigel Bradham as well, so I mean, you had to go with the linebacker right away. And I mean, you drafted three linebackers. Obviously two from the Pac-12, and then you also have a hometown kid and Sean Bradley from Temple. So I mean,
Yeah.
I followed a lot of their defense too. Being a Penn State guy and represent all the Philly colleges. I mean, he was another guy that I thought maybe bring a hometown hero in here a little bit. That'd be great. But hey, I mean, they addressed also the offensive line position. Jack Driscoll out of Auburn. That was a great 4th-round pick. We need line because these guys aren't going to last forever, and it's just that was a great way to go. And then another guy from Auburn as well, Pinstega-Wanago, I guess if how you pronounce that correctly. But 2 tackles or 2 in from Auburn, the way to go. And you got 3 receivers as well. So Hightower from Boise State, be on the lookout as well. I thought he was a steal in the 5th round. I saw his tape. I like what he has. And again, Carson has all these weapons now. And, I'm looking to see what Goddard can do this year, too. He has a couple of years on his belt. And going to year 3, I see a lot from this kid, too. So be on the lookout. Carson should not complain anymore. He has speed. He's got running backs. He's got a great line and tight ends as well. So as long as he stays healthy and doesn't get knocked out in the first quarter in a playoff game, then we could take this team pretty far again. So
Definitely. All right, so I want to pose one question. So 2020 now. 2022, who is the starter of the Eagles? Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts?
Wentz.
No. Carson Wentz.
I'm not. It's not even. It's not even.
Listen, I'll start slashing tires if people start saying that Jalen Hurts is going to be a starting quarterback in 2022. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
Unless it's stretchered out for the next 2 years and out for the rest of his career, like Alex Smith was, it's got to be Carson Wentz.
Okay, I was about to say, I was like, is there anything that would skew you away? Like, what does Carson have to do to make you be like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of him. Let's move on.
He's done enough.
I like it.
He's done enough.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. And let me just say this idea that he's injury prone, I would like for people to stop. He's actually played more than once full season. His rookie season, he played the entire season. Okay, we just had 2 bad seasons, and you're talking about he missed 8 games.
Yeah.
Come on,
I don't believe
let's.
ACL.
He's not. It's just bad luck.
Threw a touchdown.
It's been bad luck.
Bad time.
It's been bad luck. So I actually think how he played this last season is very, very much the way he's going to be playing for the rest of his career. I don't think we're going to be seeing him running out wild like he used to. I don't think we're going to see that anymore, which is why Jalen Hurts makes a little more sense. So yeah,
I can see that.
All right. I just want to go. I'll go through and do y'all like spiel where everybody can find you. With everything that y'all do. I know I said at the beginning, but just in case anybody missed it.
Well, I'll go and start. You can find me at Derek_OTS, but also follow my business page, OTSguys.com is the website. But OTS on the sidelines about sports, music, gaming, movies, and sneakers. And I'm producing now, I think, like 9 podcasts, following all these things and adding more to it. So a lot come see what we're doing.
Can we hear?
I can't hear it now.
All right, go ahead, P.
All right. Well, yeah, you guys, if you're not following me now, you guys can follow me at The Real Pete Tooch. You guys search up the letters PT, and I'm one of the first guys there. Just follow me. I'll follow you back. Any questions or answers about the upcoming fantasy football season, any sports in general about the Tri-State area, Also, I have my show, Pete's Power Plays. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 12 to 12:30 on 12 Ounce Sports Network. Anything else, you guys just let me know.
Well, as I get breathe time to get back on, I'll say this: I would not be drafting any Eagles receivers or tight ends because you got too many. Nope.
Don't know.
Don't know who's gonna go off each week. I will not do it. I'm not going to. I'm not going to waste my draft pick on an Eagle unless it's Carson Wentz. Not doing it.
I'll be completely honest, man. The last 2 or 3 years, I've actually shied away from drafting any Eagles players just out of sheer fear, because I'm superstitious. So I feel like if I draft someone, then all of a sudden that's going to be it. But I actually think Miles Sanders is going to be someone I can pick up this year.
Okay, maybe Miles Sanders. I need a running back.
I think Sanders is going to be my favorite one. Yeah.
Yeah, I had him in like the 4th or 5th round this season in my draft.
Ooh.
That's it. I'm biased, Penn State, but that's the only Eagle. I just rather enjoy the game and not root for fantasy football. Just hope the gods that the Eagles win. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all. But, Miles is ready for a breakout year. We saw what he did second half of the season, and just stay tuned. This kid is going to be wilding out.
Yeah.
I forgot what game I was at. I forgot what. Although I went to the Vikings Giants game, and I got Cook on my team. He was running and he fumbled at the end. I was like, no, up in the stands, like we was winning, but I was like, no, get in there. So yeah, I can understand the frustration by having your own team, because you be like, man, come on, I need you to do this. Throw this your own yard. I guess we really can't get her back. She can't hear us. So I'll go and shout her podcast out one more time. You can follow her at yourhost_breezy. And she's host of Sports and Stilettos podcast, Brianna Berry. So make sure y'all check that out as well. I appreciate y'all guys for joining. It was a lot of fun, man, talking Eagles with y'all.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate you for having us on, man.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Thanks.
All right.
Take care. Thank you.